guys, welcome to HipHughes History. We're banging out ideology. This time we're going to do a little bit of the socialism, taking a look at the word, the roots, a little bit about the history, and how it fits into an ideological matrix. So giddy up for the learning, guys. Let's go get her done right now. So of all the ideologies, socialism is probably the most complex and the most multifaceted in terms of trying to explain it, and there's so many different positions on socialism. But first, let's take a look at Ideology 101, taking a look at an ideological matrix. We've done this before. You see, this comes from the political compass test, which you can take online down in the description below. But basically what it's going to do is plot out your role of government on a horizontal line in terms of the economy. The left is going to be the collective, the right is going to be laissez-faire, free market, and then on authoritarianism, the farther up you go, talking about social order, we're giving the government more legitimate power to control order, and if we fall down towards anarchism, we're releasing control, going more towards a liberty concept where people are in charge of their own lives. So, where does socialism fit on this? Why don't we take a look? Of all the ideologies, socialism is definitely the hardest to define because there's so many different types of socialists. A socialist can be somebody that believes in the basic theory of capitalism. They just want to kind of clean up the edges a little bit by having some type of societal objectives in order to go towards human welfare. Let's identify a socialist according to 5 attributes, and this was laid down by Michael Freedom in his book Ideology and Political Theory. But his 5 are: number 1, you believe that society is more than the individual, and this contradicts some of the very roots of the United States in terms of individual liberalism, that the individual is at the core of everything and they lend themselves to society, not the other way around. The second attribute that Friedman lays down is that human welfare is a societal objective. So that could be an objective of education, objective of healthcare coverage, an objective of hunger. But either way that you cut it, a socialist would believe there's a societal responsibility to at least address as an objective human welfare. Number 3 is going to be the idea that humans are productive. The main quote in socialism is "to each according to his ability, to each according to his need." So that if all humans are productive and we all produce and do something for society, that we should all be able to take back what we need. A modification on that quote by democratic socialists is "to each according to his contribution," rather than ability, to each according to his need, meaning that you need to actually contribute, and that contribution should be mirrored back in the need that you have from society. Number 4 is going to be the very basic belief that all humans are equal. A socialist and a pure socialist, an ideological socialist like a Marxist, is going to believe that capitalism inherently doesn't create that equality and that freedom. Socialists believe in a concrete idea of freedom, that freedom and equality needs to be real and pragmatic and felt. It's not just an idea like Jefferson's declaration that all men are created equal. Well, a socialist would say, how can you be created equal if you're born into dire poverty with no opportunity? You might be free in a theoretical concept, but you're not free every day when you wake up hungry and you have no choices in your life. And the 5th attribute is this belief that history is a wave of progressivism, of making life better for everybody. So those are the 5 attributes. There's different types of socialists. What else can I say? All of them are going to be to the left on that ideological line because they're going to believe that the government has some sort of role in those welfare objectives as society. A militant socialist, somebody like Marx, would believe that socialism is only a phase between capitalism and communism, complete control by the collective over the society. And in fact, in pure communism, there is no state, there is no authority. People just live free and, I guess, act free, and there's enough materials for everybody to be, adequately satisfied. But most socialists today aren't communists. It's kind of like that old logic that all communists are socialists, but not all socialists are communists. I think one of the blowbacks against people that may be liberal or might advocate for some sort of universal healthcare system or something, along those lines, is they are going to be labeled as sending us towards the road towards communism, because that was Marx's objective. Either way that you cut it, there's different types of socialists. Let's take a look at a few right now. I think we'll just stick to two. The two major distinctions are going to be between somebody who believes in state socialism and somebody who believes in democratic socialism. Democratic socialism is when you have still the capitalistic system. You still have a free market, but you're looking towards direct democracy and people's participation to have some type of control over that market system. And that might be something as simple as a minimum wage, or maybe it's going to be a 40-hour work week, something like that. State socialism is different. These are people that believe that the state, the national government, the central government needs to control the means of production in a much more concrete way. So I think that state socialists see capitalism as something that needs to be in our past as we move towards a more controlled economy with a command structure. Where a democratic socialist would accept the free market system but is really just trying to use direct democracy to address some of the dysfunctions of capitalism in order to help it survive. But either way that you cut it, socialism is really broad, it's really big, and there's lots of different ways to define it. So what do you think, guys? Where'd you fall on that scale up there? You got a little bit of socialism in you? Maybe, maybe not. Leave it in the comments below, fight it out down there, duke it out, but be civil and be cool. So there you go, guys. If you haven't checked out HipHughes history, you can press that big red button and that'll take you to the land of subscriptions, which are free and fun and funky. And if you haven't heard me say it before, where attention goes, energy flows. We'll see you next time that you press my buttons.